Hello everybody and welcome back, and in this video right now we will cover the while loop in our Python programs. So we already covered two loops, which is the for loop and if else loop statement. Right now what we want to do is cover the while loop, which is a loop that we will use. It is mostly used in order to perform actions forever. For example, if you just type here while x equals 1 and then do some action, it will perform those actions forever in case x really is 1. In case it is not 1, it will not perform anything. So let us actually start off by, as always, opening up our Python interpreter, and the syntax is the similar for the for and if loop. So basically you just type while and then some statement and then two dots, and then you basically press enter, then tab the next command and you specify what you want to do if or while that statement is true. So let's see a simple use. So a equals 3 while a equals 3, so double times equals, since that is actually changing the checking the value of a, we tab it, print hello. And if you enter this, you will see that this will print hello forever. Now why this will print hello forever? Well, basically because a is always 3. We specify a to be 3. So let me just close this. So Control C to interrupts, as we can see keyboard interrupt. What we actually typed right here, first of all a was 3, then we typed here while a equals 3, and then we said print hello. It printed hello forever, and it would basically go forever in case I didn't stop it, because a will always be 3. But if we just type here a equals, couldn't find equals 2, and then we pressed once again, you will see that this actually, or wait, I forgot to print. So a equals 3 while a equals 3, a equals 2, print a. And you can see it only printed a once. It didn't go forever as in the previous video, or pardon me, as in the previous example. What this basically means is, as we can see right here, a was set to 3. So while a was 3, we would print a. But since in our while loop we specified a to be 2, it didn't really print a forever, since in the next loop when it came here it was checking if a equals 3, but a wasn't, then a was 2 then, so it basically broke the loop and it only printed out a to be 2 once, since it only went through this entire loop once. So that is the simple use of the while loop. You can also just type it like this. So set a boolean value for a, which is either true or false. Right now let's say true, and then while a, print hello. Now you can guess that this will print hello forever, since it basically says while true, print hello. As we can see, if I press here enter, it will print hello forever. You can also do it basically while true, I didn't type here anything, print it's true. And this will also print it's true forever. You can also specify a to be false, and then while a, which means while false, print it's false. And you will see this won't print anything, since a is false, and this will not go through loop. It will only go through loop if the specified statement is true. If it is not true, it will skip the loop. So that is a good thing to know. It can be useful for many things. Now let's see a combination, for example, of this loop and a different loop that we used before, which is the if else statement. So let's close this and write our next program, and nano python 4.py. We specify the path to Python, user bin Python, and now we can write our program. So let's set some value x to be true. So we set the value x to be true, nothing really there to explain. Now let's start our while loop while x. So while x, then two dots, we tab the next command that we will specify right here. So basically already now we know that it will execute the commands in while loop, since x is true, so it will not skip the while loop. So right now let's specify something called user input, for example, or user name, and then we equal that and use the raw input. We do not need to specify anything before, we only specify when we want to use an integer. So right now we want to get a string from the user, so raw input, enter name here, and we close only one time parenthesis. And let's use now an if-else loop. So if user name equals to q, which basically in our case will stand for quit, or let's leave it on q. So, and then we specify two dots, break. We will type here break. Now the break command basically breaks out of the loop. It will in our case close the entire program, since our entire program is a simple one while loop, but the usage of break, as I said, is only used to break out of a loop. It can be used in infinite loops, so such as this one. Until you specify q, it will work. So let's continue this program. So if username equals q, you break out of this loop. Else, we can just type here print hello, and then we specify the s for the string, and then specify the %s for username. And this will print out hello and then the name for every name we type until we specify q. If we specify q, it will break out of the loop and close our program. So let's see how this will work. So we Ctrl O to save, Ctrl X to exit, we chmod it to be an executable, and then we can run it. As we can see, it asks us for name. So let's say first name John. Hello John, and it will also right after that asks us for another name. We can specify here Jack, and it will say hello Jack. And now this will do basically this forever until we type here q. And if we type here q, you can see it will close our program, since we said if the name equals q, you break out of the loop. So that is another useful thing to do. As you saw right here, there wouldn't really be another way to close this program properly if there wasn't a statement for a simple command to break out of the loop. So that would be about it for the basics of while loop. For now we covered all of these three loops, which is for if else statement and while loop. And in the next video we will go into something called lists, which we already saw in a previous video, but we didn't really explain it there. Right now we want to explain lists in a little bit more detailed. So that will be about it for this tutorial, and I hope I see you in the next one. Bye!